Welcome to the American College of Surgeons Bulletin Brief from the Frontline Surgeons' Voices. With me today are three of our 5 recent award winners from the Pfizer Humanitarian Awards at Operation Giving Back. These awards were conferred during the virtual online Board of Governors dinner, the typical Tuesday evening during annual clinical congress. Welcome, Drs. Are, Dicker, and Senior. Congratulations to all 3 of you for your awards. And what I'd like to do with our time today is have you explain to our listeners and viewers the fantastic things which you did to be recognized for those awards. And I'd preface by saying that many years ago, I was on the awards committee for Operation Giving Back when it first started. And even then, when only a small fraction of the number of applications were received, the applications, each one was amazing. I mean, everyone, you, your colleagues, and the people who did not get awards did incredible, amazing things. And I used to love reading them and think, how do people do all these things? So I'd like you to tell us about some of the incredible things you did, maybe just preface by saying what kind of surgery you do, where you do it, and then for what reason you recognize, and maybe we'll start with Dr. Are.
First and foremost, it's an honor to get this award, and I can't say this enough number of times. I don't think any of us do this expecting an award or a reward, but having said that, this probably will be one of the most significant moments in my professional and personal life. Many of us have been doing this work for years, and for me, it started growing up as a child of a small town rural general surgeon father, kind of doing a lot of charitable work to people that could not pay or afford for decades. And watching that, I always felt that I wanted to do something to give back. And we're all seasoned enough on this call. In our day, when we said I'm a surgeon and I want to do global health, they said you might want to get your head examined. But anyway, we somehow persevered, and along the way you get lucky, you meet people in different times in your life, and sometimes you wonder if someone higher than you placed them there. But anyway, I've been lucky that way. There's just a few things I may want to highlight. One is I've done quite some work through my university itself. In fact, I just came off a call. We're trying to restart the exchange program we have with India. Since 2009, we have brought over about 900 people for observerships here. They come for 1 to 2 month periods. We help them with their visa, sometimes with accommodation. I had a personal grant, which I used for some time. And I meet a lot of those people when I go back to India. And even a decade later, they say this observership was maybe one of the most life-changing experiences that they had. The next one, I have to give a lot of thanks to my Society of Surgical Oncology. It served as a great vehicle for me to help cancer care across the world. Surgical care in global health is the stepchild of the stepchild. Most recently, it's been getting some attention. Cancer surgery in surgery is maybe, if there's even worse than that, it's the stepchild in surgical care. The Lancet Oncology Commission, published in 2015, highlighted how cancer surgery is not available. So what I've done is, instead of focusing on going around the world doing surgical procedures, which I think is commendable for those that do it, I focused on education to build a local workforce. And I also started focusing on research so that they can critically evaluate their own outcomes. So to help with those, we published a global curriculum in surgical oncology, which is not a mandatory, but it's a modular and aspirational curriculum. Depending on the resources of each country, they can pick and choose what they want to use. In the same way, we published a resource stratified global curriculum in research literacy to promote research. The third one that I was fortunate enough to do with the support of FSSO is we started something called as a Global Forum of Cancer Surgeons, which has surgical oncology leaders from about 15 surgical oncology societies in the world. And the last time I did the math, that accounts for about 80% of the global cancer burden by incidence and mortality. And we're trying to remove as many barriers as we can to cancer surgery, advocate for cancer surgery in the global stage, and at the end of the day, to improve patient care. Once again, I'm going to stop, and I really want to thank ACS, OGB, Pfizer for the opportunity, and Dr. Wexner for making us feel so important. This has been 1 week where I've been felt to feel so valuable and important. Thank you so much.
Well, Dr. Ari, you are important for the work that you've been doing. 900 is absolutely phenomenal number to come for 1 to 2 month observerships to raise the money to help them. You mentioned the word global multiple times. It explains why you got the 2021 Academic Global Surgeon Award, having mentioned research, exposed education with observers. That particular award seems tailor-made for you. So congratulations for all you're doing. Now, one of the things I remember back when I was on the committee was there's all this great stuff going overseas, but there's also stuff at home. And people don't often think about some of the volunteerism at home and the humanitarian efforts at home. And that was recognized this year with the 2021 Domestic Volunteer Award having been given to Dr. Dicker. So Dr. Dicker, welcome. Tell us a little about what you do, where you do it, and what you did to get this amazing award.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wexner. It's difficult to comment on a discussion point like that because I feel very much like I share this award with the community that it takes to create these kinds of real inflection points and changes in the way we care for our patients who struggle with the social determinants of health. And I just want to say it's an incredible privilege to share this with Dr. R.A. and Dr. Senior. Their accomplishments that I've learned over this period of time, quite extraordinary, and I can't wait to in person shake your hands someday soon. And so I would say that what's really amazing right now about receiving this is that there's so much more awareness and so much more attention within the college and within the Committee on Trauma on the importance of structural racism and the social determinants of health and what that means downstream, particularly for our trauma patients, but really for patients with a lot of different kinds of chronic diseases and end stage, you name it, cancer, hernias. And so what this award to me is about is really addressing the upstream issues that impact our patients in such a significant way. So what we have done is started programs that address the social determinants of health by creating hospital-based violence intervention programs. And I did this first in San Francisco as a fellow. And really what it took was leaving the hospital to get to know our people, break bread with our people, the people that we serve every day, get to know the conditions by which they live, learn, and take pride in their surroundings. And by doing so, I met extraordinary people. And I think the same way Dr. Ari does, sometimes I feel like there was a higher power that introduced me to people like Tanish Hollins and Chevelle Pope and Michael Texada and Ruben Marquez and these real change agents in our community in San Francisco that allowed for this partnership that's what it takes. So these hospital-based violence intervention programs are all about allowing the credible messengers and opening the doors to the credible messengers to really provide the essential social care for our trauma patients. So it's really opening the door and finding the funds to integrate social care into trauma care and into medical care in general. Now, I say that as just a starter point, but I have such gratitude for the community that I've worked with to allow me the opportunity to bring them on board for our trauma centers. And now we have an organization called the Health Alliance for Violence Intervention, the HAVI. And through the HAVI, we provide training and technical assistance and support for so many people out there now that want to start these types of programs. So again, I work with this amazing community of people who are developing programs across the country, including a research and evaluation base to build on our best practices model, and including the development of policy around this notion of hospital-based violence intervention, community-based violence intervention. It's written into the infrastructure bill that's out there right now, but it's also written into other federal funding that's coming down now so that these types of programs can become sustainable. So it's an exciting time. I can't believe how much interest there is and awareness of how important it is for us to provide comprehensive care, not just in trauma care, but other diseases that we deal with in surgery that we recognize have upstream components that we can address along with the downstream surgical effects. So thank you again for this opportunity, Dr. Wexner and the American College of Surgeons. And again, congratulations to my colleagues.
Well, thanks very much, Dr. Dicker. And again, congrats to you. You touched on one of the very important themes for the Pfizer Humanitarian Awards and one of the main foci of OGB, which is sustainability, and not to just do a hit and run and then people say what just happened or that was great, those few patients did okay, but sustainability is key. And it's a common thread amongst all the awards. So we've gone from global and people, 900 observers coming here in various stages of their career, to being here with our domestic award. And let's go back overseas and talk to Dr. Brent Sr. about his International Volunteer Award 2021. Congrats, Dr. Sr.
Yeah, thank you so much again. It's an incredible honor for me to receive this award. I've been incredibly humbled by this, and again, hearing my colleagues here and just listening to the amazing work that they're accomplishing. It really is just wonderful for me to be able to be considered in the same group as these individuals. So thank you again. I am an otolaryngologist, head and neck surgeon. So we were talking, Dr. Ari was talking about being the orphan stepchild. I think that I am like the forgotten orphan out there to some degree, especially when it comes to international work, right? And my subspecialty is rhinology and endoscopic skull-based surgery. So here we're like just coning down to this such an esoteric area. And I got to be honest, when I first started out of my training, I got interested in doing some international work, and I didn't know what I could do. I was a subspecialist in a tiny little area. What could I do? How could I contribute to the needs that are out there? And what I realized is that everyone needs education. Everyone needs to learn. My focus when I first started going to Vietnam, which is where I've been going now for almost 25 years, my focus kind of transitioned very quickly from trying to do as much surgery and see as many patients as possible to really working with the physicians, working with the otolaryngology colleagues there, and taking them through the cases and working with residents and really emphasizing the educational side. So we really built an educational program that has now been going on at these major teaching centers in Vietnam for this last 20 years. And I think when we talk sustainability, that's how we do it, right? It's not just swooping in with a big team of physicians and doing all this work and seeing all these patients and doing all these surgeries. Yes, that's of course part of it, but it's really trying to build something that can continue to work when you're away. And that's what we've really tried to emphasize, is trying to put the wheels in motion to get our colleagues overseas working as effectively as possible. We also have sponsored a lot of our colleagues to come to the United States to spend time with us in our medical centers here at University of North Carolina, but others as well. And that's been an incredible experience, I think, as well. That's been able to be taken back to Vietnam and then building on the things that they learned here, taking it into their own institutions and doing some of these things. So I just want to echo my colleagues here. Great honor. It's a great thing that the ACS is doing to recognize all of us, but really, I'm just incredibly humbled to be here.
Well, thank you. Thanks each of you for your time today, but especially thanks for all the change that you've been making these last years around the world, in the US and abroad. And moreover, thinking about sustainability, not only are you individually making change, working with other surgeons in India or the US or other otolaryngologists in Vietnam, but you're inspiring other people to do so, because as people hear about these awards, they read your stories, which have been printed by the ACS. They watch this video and go to the links on it. Other people are going to be inspired. And I'm sure, knowing how altruistic and humanitarian each of you are, you're not going to object if people contact you. And I see heads nodding, and you'd be thrilled, I'm sure, to mentor and further ensure the sustainability of the programs that you've created. So congratulations for what you've done, and for what I know you're going to continue to do and do through other people who are going to follow in your footsteps. Thanks for your time. Thanks for
Thank you.
what you do. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.